It was late afternoon, that golden hour when the sun casts long, thoughtful shadows on the pavement, when she first noticed them. She had just returned from the grocery store, her arms full and her mind elsewhere, when a flicker of movement caught her eye near the edge of her parked car. There, nestled beneath it, were 3 kittens, tiny, trembling, and impossibly still, huddled in a tight cluster with their wide eyes fixed directly on her as she approached. Their gazes weren't curious or playful as one might expect from kittens so young. They were serious, watchful, and filled with something heavier than fear. It was as if they were waiting for help or for a miracle. She crouched down slowly, careful not to startle them, and reached out a tentative hand. Her fingers brushed gently against one of the kittens, a soft ginger ball of fur no larger than her palm. But none of them budged. They didn't scatter or run. Their tiny bodies trembled, but they remained rooted to the cold ground, determined to stay right where they were. Something wasn't right. A deep sense of unease bloomed in her chest, growing heavier with each second. These kittens weren't just scared, they were protecting something. Heart pounding, she bent lower, easing herself flat against the ground to peer beneath the car. That's when she saw it. Just behind one of the rear wheels, almost hidden in shadow, was a 4th kitten, black and white, still as stone. Its body lay awkwardly on its side, one paw curled beneath it, unmoving. Her breath caught in her throat. The kittens weren't hiding. They were guarding their mother. Panic surged through her as she grabbed her phone and called the local animal rescue. Her fingers shook as she dialed, her voice urgent and breathless as she explained the scene. Time seemed to stretch into a blur until the rescuers arrived, kind-faced volunteers wearing gloves and carrying towels and plastic crates. With gentle, practiced hands, they slid beneath the car and carefully removed the unconscious kitten from behind the wheel, cradling it in a blanket as if it were made of glass. One rescuer checked for signs of life, pressing their fingers against its tiny chest. The pulse was faint, but still present. Against all odds, the kitten was alive. As the team worked under the fading light, one of them turned toward the patch of grass nearby and froze. "There's more," she called out. The others followed her gaze, and sure enough, just beyond the edge of the sidewalk, nestled deep in the grass, were 3 more kittens. So small, so still, they were nearly invisible in the gathering dusk. These kittens were even younger, mewling softly, their cries barely above a whisper. Cold, weak, and helpless, they had likely never even opened their eyes to the sun. Yet somehow they had survived. The rescuers gathered them gently and placed them with the others in a warm, padded box lined with towels, offering safety for the first time in what must have felt like an eternity. Later, at the clinic, a vet pieced together the story. The black and white cat was not another kitten. It was their mother. She had been struck by a car, the injuries grave but not immediately fatal. Somehow, bleeding and broken, she had managed to drag herself off the street and into the nearby park. She had fought to stay alive, not for herself but for her babies. But eventually her injuries took over. She collapsed, unable to move, unable to feed or warm her kittens. And that's when the Ginger Trio had made a move that was both brave and heartbreaking. Starving and desperate, they had wandered away from her in search of help. Guided only by instinct and love, they had ended up under the girl's car, perhaps called there by the sound of footsteps, or maybe by some deep ancient understanding that humans sometimes help. The rescuers named the mother cat Hope, a name that felt more like a prayer than a label. She underwent emergency surgery that night, the prognosis uncertain, the outcome unknown. But Hope, true to her name, pulled through. She began to recover. Slowly, steadily. Meanwhile, her 7 kittens, all miraculously unharmed, were bottle-fed around the clock by volunteers, their tiny stomachs filled with warm formula and their fur gently groomed by loving hands. The kittens grew stronger with each passing day, their eyes clearing, their paws steadier. Weeks later, when the vets declared Hope strong enough to be reunited with her kittens, the shelter staff gathered around quietly. No one wanted to disturb the moment. One by one, the kittens were placed beside their mother in a soft recovery room. At first, Hope blinked as if unsure. Then she meowed, a low, trembling sound, and her kittens answered. They climbed over one another, pushing into her fur, rubbing their heads against her chest. The room fell silent except for the purring, that unmistakable hum of joy and relief. The reunion was overwhelming. Tears ran freely down the cheeks of volunteers who had seen hundreds of rescues, but few quite like this. The girl who found them never forgot that afternoon, the moment those kittens looked into her soul and begged without words. She visited often, sitting beside Hope and the Ginger trio, reading softly to them, bringing toys. Eventually, she adopted Hope and one of the Ginger kittens, the smallest, the one who had first let her touch him under the car. She named him Lucky, and no one argued with that choice. The rest of the litter, all 6 of them, found loving homes too, with families who had followed their story and couldn't look away. And though time moved on, the story never left those who lived it. It became a symbol of something greater, a reminder of the fierce love that even the smallest beings can hold, the bonds that survive fear, injury, and darkness. A testament to a mother's will to live and a little family who refused to give up. In the face of despair, they had chosen each other. And that choice had saved them all. If you found this story as moving as we did, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to our channel. We share more real-life rescues like this, because every life matters and every act of kindness makes the world a little brighter.